Okay, so we already are pretty weird, as you can tell by the background. And we decided to go into the Sierra Nevadas, but we actually went about 2 or 3, it's only an hour or 2 outside of Nevada.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really close. But my parents heard about this little ghost town that still exists in California, and it's called Bodie. It was a really, really old mining town. Bodie.
From the 1800s.
Bodie with ghosts. They apparently exist. Ghosts. Can we send someone to get them? Go and catch them? Can we catch ghosts?
Called the Ghostbusters?
Ghostbusters! Okay, so, from what
Every time there's something on the news, your parents have to call you about it because they believe everything on the news. When people tell you, don't believe everything. It was like an hour or 2 from her parents to the Sierra Nevadas, and like 3 to 4 hours over the Sierra Nevadas. So round trip like 4 to 5 hours.
We literally only would have, if we would have driven another hour, I could have been gambling.
But it took that long, and we reached the ghost town of Bodie.
Ghostbuster town. Oh, maybe the Ghostbusters already went there and killed all the ghosts.
But when we went there, it was actually a pretty big town, a lot bigger than I thought.
Yeah, normally ghost towns are like a block or something. This one was huge.
And it was really spread out.
Really spread out. I mean, from what we were told, there was way more than it even shows. But I guess there was a big fire and then something else that ruined a lot of stuff, and only a few big buildings stand or partially stood, so they rebuilt a lot of things, and then like only the really nice wealthy miners' homes or like corporate owners' homes were the only ones that really like stood. Everything else in like the prostitute district, yes, they had a prostitute district, they had like a Chinese district. You could tell they were very much from like 1800 California mining gold town, because they were what you expected from history.
Their living situations and houses were very like small and like little insulated. So
I was like, after we came home, I was like, I actually don't feel my apartment's too small, even though it kind of is.
Yeah. But I felt the history was pretty interesting behind it, and like how it started. And
yeah, I mean, I like the history and everything, but if you don't watch that movie they showed, which was a little ridiculous, they said it was greatly filmed, it was crappy filmed, and then if you don't, like, take the map that they want you to pay $2 for when you first come into the park, you wouldn't know what half of that stuff is, and I'm like...
And if you do go, I would suggest seeing the video first, so you know this stuff before.
And also, I'm a little peevy at California state parks because my dad's disabled. He has like a placard. He's very much disabled. He can only like stand for maybe a minute at the time, and he can walk with like canes and other stuff. State parks, even if they see someone who's disabled or anything, they don't tell you there's a whole bunch of stuff that you can get for like disabled people, like wheelchairs that like help you go off-road and stuff. I'm a little disappointed in our state park. Like, the person saw we had a disabled plaque, and she's just like, yeah, go park, it's like only a few minutes from the parking. It was all like downhill. My dad can't handle it. I was a little...
I like their wheelchair though.
Oh yeah, we finally though found out we could get him. They had him like an off-roading wheelchair. It had these big tires. I called it the donut wheelchair instead of off-roading because it looked like he had donuts, and it was like... It was fun to actually push it around. I like pretty much liked the whole town. I kind of liked seeing. I like
the visitor center.
Yeah, it was a little too small for me because there was a visitor center / museum. The wheelchair could barely fit through its own visitor center / museum. To me, not cool. I think
it was cool looking inside.
It was cool looking. Again, a lot of history. What I was most disappointed about is on the map it shows you like the mining facility is closed because it's hazardous. We go into the visitor center, which was like one of our last stops, and we find out they do, but they just do small tours so they can watch people that cost additional. And I'm like, I came up here to see the mine, and then I was like, oh, well, are you guys having another tour? And they're like, oh, we canceled the 3 o'clock tour today. And I'm like, I came all this way to see the cool mine.
Seriously.
So I was a little disappointed in that. But at the same time, I got to walk around again.
I did feel the altitude difference because we were at like 8,000, 9,000 feet.
We were at like 9,000 and like something feet.
And I could definitely feel the altitude difference, and like...
And I could see.
with breathing, like the pressure inside your
Yeah,
body.
my asthma hated me that day. I mean, it wasn't horrible, but you know how my mom was like, "You're wheezing, we need to take you to a doctor again." I'm like, why? I never get, my asthma doesn't flare up except for when we're in high altitude. The other thing too, like, I love going and seeing these things, but he got to see just how affected I am by, like, day trips with change in altitudes. I get headaches and super sick, and this was the worst day. My parents hated it when we would camp.
Yeah, that's about it for at the park. But on the way back, we stopped for pizza, and apparently it wasn't as good as the previous time.
Oh my god. Okay, so there's this really cool pizza place that some friends, like, told us about one year after camping. It's, oh my god. So we get there, there's no one else in there except for maybe 2 people. We get there, we order a big pizza to also bring back to my brother and his girlfriend. And literally, it sucked. Like, this thing was, like, literally covered. I think he put, like, 4 jars of, like, mushrooms and olives on this thing. And, like, you saw me picking them off. And I'm just like...
I just shook it.
I just, like, shook it to get the extra off. And I'm like, that's not how pizza
or
should
if you
like,
just lifted
it shouldn't be
fell.
piled on. It was disgusting.
Not just that, but...
And then on top of it, so we go do our order, and then, like, maybe 10, 15 minutes after we come in,
like 5.
A group of, like, 5, yeah, a group of, like, maybe 6 people came, regulars, because they got their pizza within, like, minutes of ordering, and I noticed...
We got ours in 45 minutes.
Yeah, I noticed our pizza wasn't even started until like,
their
pizza was
eating.
done.
No, until they were done eating.
Yeah, and me and my dad, like, after that, were just like, we're not even coming back here. It doesn't matter anymore. It was partially burnt. I was not a fan. And I used to love this pizza place.
But that's about it. It was a long trip. It was like 4 to 5 hours there, 2 hours there, 4 to 5 hours back. It was overall a 12-hour trip.
Most of the stuff was, like, super, super overpriced. But I did find something pretty decent that I bought. And most of the things, like, didn't even say, like, the town. Unless you bought a book. I found this cute little, like, handkerchief. Maybe it will show it. There you go. And we collect pins. If any of you don't know, if not, we'll show you one day. That is, like, the 30th anniversary. I liked it. It was only, like, how much?
$5.
$5 for both of this, like, little hanker and a little pin. I was thrilled. And Elisa said Bodie. Like, most other things didn't say Bodie. So I was a little happy. So I got that.
Oh, I bought a few postcards.
He has an obsession.
Well, because I collect postcards wherever I go, and these are my favorite of the town. And then here's a sunset one of the town.
Ooh. I wish they would have
That's
had
how
one.
big it is, at least.
I wish they would have had one of it, like, snowing. That was just the mine area, and think people lived, like, downhill from the mine.
And here's another postcard I got.
Ooh.
Okay. And then I also got...
We also collect coins.
We've started a coin collection, too, and they had almost 100% silver coins with a...
little gold nugget in it. Focus. It may not show out well, but hey.
That was 0.999% silver for $9.
And it was produced in Nevada.
No. 100% silver coin they also had was $42 for 0.001 difference.
I know.
And then they also had bronze coins, which I thought was cool.
Oh, child collecting. I know, it looks gold, but it's really bronze, like a penny. Focus! We'll get up. You have been to ghost towns? Tell us. If you know of more ghost towns, completely tell us. If one day we get a chance to travel to them, we will 100% will. Because we both like history and, like, ghost towns. If they're in another state, it might be trickier. We'll have to wait longer. But we love history and ghost towns. Tell us about your experiences, please.
Tell us about ghost town experiences you've had. Tell us if you've been to Bodie before, that experience. And just
maybe you can tell me if you've been in the mine and then
I
missed out.
That's about it for this video. Check out our other videos. But there you have it from
All the good
Chewy.
buttons. And Patfoot.
From GeekyElites.